Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, D, and today with me I have Bruno.
So,
And we're going to be talking about the Gina Carano topic. So, Gina Carano, fired from The Mandalorian for saying something on, what was it, Twitter?
it was Twitter, yeah. I think
Yeah,
it was Twitter.
And I've read what she said, but I don't know it word for word off the top of my head, but I remember she was talking about political parties and comparing them to specific topics that people found sensitive, right?
Yeah, so I can summarize it. She said she compared, being a Republican today to being a Jew back then, like a Jewish person
Right.
back then, because nowadays you can be like harassed and judged for having like a certain political view. Just like how back then, just like how back then, people that had Jewish beliefs would get put into concentration camps or harassed or beaten, in the streets.
Right. So her comparison was made in topics such as that, yeah, and I can see why that. I can see that comparison. I can understand why she would say that, because you could, like, during the times of the election especially, you could just go out on the street or wherever, express your political opinion, like say what party you're following, and if the person you're telling is on the opposite party, they'll, just treat you differently all of a sudden, and it's kind of absurd to, like, realize it's like that, yeah.
And I think it's rare, but yeah, you probably would get like attacked, like if you were in like an area where there was, I don't know, if there was like a protest going on, or you meet, a certain group of people that were crazy enough to just beat you down just for having like a, opposing view. It's not,
right.
It's not out of the possibility, because a lot of people are crazy nowadays.
Yeah, but I think cancel culture just needs to lay off, in my personal opinion.
They themselves need to be canceled.
Because Disney firing her over something she said on whatever social media platform she was on is kind of ridiculous. And the real reason they fired her was because of the responses that she got. Like, if she got or let's say a positive response or a neutral from her fan base or whatever, I don't think Disney would have fired her. But because people responded to her tweet negatively, that's why Disney noticed it and were like, oh, she's causing up a ruckus. We don't need that. But I don't even think that's really the case. I think Disney was just doing a little self-defense mechanism there to not tie themselves in with what her tweet was about. You know what I mean? Even though, like, it has nothing to do. They just didn't, because that's what the whole cancel culture bullcrap is about. Is that they just don't want to get canceled themselves, so they got rid of her before, the accusations of it being brought to them.
Yeah. And I feel that maybe Disney themselves would be a part of that culture, because, I think they do have that, the strong women ideologies, or at least the director, president of Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, she probably has that, forces female, or, strong, we want strong women in Star Wars. And ironically, they got her, and she's a strong woman in Star Wars, and they fire her, but it's probably for having a different opinion. I mean, I think all in all, I think it's absurd and it's unfair that
opinions could get you fired, yeah.
She got fired for having a different opinion, and it's just I was mad. I was pissed. I like the character. I like Cara Dune. I like the...
Yeah.
It grew on me, her character. And she's a nice person in real life, because, she's a sensible person. She has logic,
Right. And there's nothing, like, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, that you could just say something, it's just because, like, people don't like what you said, and you're just gone. Like, boop, out of there. And, I mean, like, what is the show gonna do now? Like, how are they going to progress with the Mandalorian after a major character? I mean, she's not like main character major, but she is a prevalent character in the show. She's been around since what, episode 2 of season 1 or whatever. So she's been there, and she's been current within the show as well. It's not like she was just a season 1 thing. She's been there from time to time.
She partook in a lot of like major battles with
and major plot
him in
points.
His time of need.
So it's like, what are you gonna do? Just write her out? I mean, you could, but why? Why would you want to, like? I don't get it. And I'm pretty sure Pedro Pascal himself said something similar in a tweet or in some I thought he did
something, and nobody complained. And,
right.
And so he's fine.
And so and that's what I meant, like, before, because he didn't get a bad rap with his tweet, but she did. That's why Disney got her instead of him.
Yeah, like why?
And
can't she?
That's stupid.
That is stupid. I think the only solution to this is that a lot of people do have her back on this. A lot of people do support her. So I see a lot of people either boycotting or refusing to purchase Disney Plus because of
I hope so. I mean, it shouldn't have to come down to that, but it's it kind of is deserved because
I feel like they would hire her back if the fans really gave an uproar that they're pissed and they want her back.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a chance that they could hire her back. But I think she's doing okay for herself because
I hope so.
She's doing a collaboration with a guy named Ben Shapiro. The funny dude is a figure in politics. He's not like a politician, but he's like this. I guess he's kind of like a savage. He's like basically think Elon Musk, but more like just political kind of thing. Like he's like a person who knows what he's talking about.
Gotcha.
And I guess
I don't know what I'm talking
she's
about.
Doing a collab with him. She's doing a collab. Yeah. She's doing a collab with him on something. I don't know what. I think it was today too that she did an interview explaining what went on with her getting fired. I haven't seen anything. It might look.
I don't think I've seen it either.
I think she opened up about something. So I do hope she's doing all right. Cause I feel
hopefully
bad.
It becomes like a. Not to like get opinions and ideas or whatever mixed up, and we're not trying to upset anyone here. We're just trying to talk about today's topics in popular franchises. But I kind of hope for her sake it ends up being like the Johnny Depp thing, where he was innocent and he's not going to be financially crippled or completely destroyed, Hollywood-wise because of his divorce and whatever was going on there. Hopefully it turns around for her, and at the end of the day, maybe Disney takes her back, because I think they really should.
Yes.
I don't think, I think they're making a big mistake, because, I mean, whether they fire her, keep her, or whatever, I don't think Disney's going to lose a lot of viewers on The Mandalorian regardless. You might lose a couple of not like a couple, but you know what I mean. You're going to lose a percentage of fan base. But overall, people that just like Star Wars outnumbers that percentage, and people that watch The Mandalorian outnumbers that percentage. So it's not like they're going to take a financial hit if they keep someone in the show that made people angry from a tweet, or get rid of her because of that tweet. I think they're going to have views no matter what. So if Disney's worried about money from The Mandalorian, I don't think they should. I think they'll be fine. But I still think they should hire her back. And that's if she even takes the job back. She might turn it down because of how ridiculous sometimes Disney can be. You know what I mean?
And I don't blame her.
I wouldn't blame her either.
I'd be like, I'd say fuck them. It's like they simply stating an opinion and then losing your job just because you stated your. It just bothers me. Like, how the frick do you fire someone just because they stated their opinion? They weren't. It's not like they were. It's not like they said. They didn't say, "Oh, I'm a white supremacist." Death to all black people or something like that. She never said anything like that. I mean, that'd be something different. I'd be like, you know, if you like make threats and stuff like that, like that'd be a different story. But that's not what.
Right, there was no
that was
threats
about.
made, there was no aggression in the statement. She was just referring to a time period where things were, yes, depressing and not right, you know, moral wise with people. And, you know, it was a harsh time, no doubt about it. But it was also a long time ago, and we can't, you know, dismiss what happened then, because it did happen. You can't forget it.
Yes.
But we can't just hold it over our heads like it's still prevalent to today and like it still applies to us.
Yeah.
It's history.
You know,
That's what it is. Yeah.
Sounds like a sensitive topic, but it happened, and people just have to acknowledge it. Same thing with 9/11. You know, it happened, and
Right, and it's still not a good thing, but it happened, and all we could do is, you know, remember what happened that day, reflect upon it, and move on from it. And that's what Disney needs to, and everyone needs to, like, not everyone, but people that struggle with trying to come to terms with things like that, you gotta realize that it's just in the past now. I mean, Disney could have potentially ruined her whole career here. Like, aside from The Mandalorian, the only things she's really worked on that were big was The Fast and the Furious, right? She's done a couple of those. I know she did MMA before, but that's not even like movie based. That's like a past career. She's done a couple other things in like the early 2000s. Yeah, another big thing was Deadpool. But she's really only had like 2 or 3 major roles in Hollywood before The Mandalorian. And so she's starting to kick off as an actress and move places with her, you know, career, and then Disney just takes it from her.
Yeah, and Disney just takes it from her. Because Disney being Disney and, you know, cancel culture. It's like, I'm pretty sure I think cancel culture was already giving her shit before, but, you know, she just brushed it off because, I think, but she brushed it off, you know, being a savage, she brushed it off because it's like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, you're this or that, and it's like, you know what, that's just how you feel, doesn't, you know, it's no skin off my nose kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Disney just takes a step further and fires her. Now, I remember seeing somewhere about with Johnny Depp, that Johnny Depp was thanking his fans because they were backing him up. You know,
yeah,
I think, you know, they were
I'd seen
support.
that.
So I definitely think that she'd have a chance of getting hired back with the help of her fan base, people that want it back, people that understand. So I think.
I hope. Yeah. Well, hopefully just at the end of the day things work out in her favor and Disney's favor or whatever. Hopefully everyone just gets what they want and it goes well for them. That's all we could ask for. That's all anyone can ask for. So that'll be all for today. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.